let's begin with some questions. First of all, how many of you, by show of hands or comments down in this video, know about the country Guyana? Is this your first time hearing about it? If you could you point to it on a map? Now, the first time that I heard about the country Guyana, I thought everyone was talking about the country Ghana, and they were just pronouncing it wrong. However, I later learned that I was terribly mistaken, and I've learned since then. Now, the beautiful country of Guyana is a country of many cultures, and in this speech, my purpose is to inform you about the country and also about some of the challenges that the country faces. The reason why I chose this topic is because I have been there, I have lived among the people, and I have enjoyed it all. I've grown to love them, and I've grown to love the environment there. However, I've also been able to see some of the struggles, some of the challenges that they face as a whole, as a country. And it's kind of sad to see because they live in such a beautiful place. Now, throughout my speech, you will come to picture in your mind what Guyana looks like. You will come to understand why there are many different types of cultures, or in other words, you'll come to know more about the history of the country. You will also be able to see some of the problems that they are being faced with in today's age. Now, first, let's talk a little bit about the geography and the history of Guyana. Now, first of all, where is Guyana? Guyana is considered part of the Caribbean. However, unlike most Caribbean countries, Guyana is not an island. It is found on the South American continent, to the right of Venezuela and to the left of Suriname. It is also right above a part of Brazil. Guyana is very well known for being the only English-speaking country, meaning English is their first language. Guyana is also very well known for their rainforested areas because they are so close to the Amazonias. They're also known for many other things. One of them being that the fact that they have the world's largest one-drop waterfall, known as Kaieteur Falls. They also have their tallest mountain being a tabletop or plateau mountain, and they're very well known for their resources such as tropical fruit, pure cane, so they make cane sugar. They also have other things such as rice plantations, and they have a lot of oil reserves. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, let's talk a little bit about who conquered Guyana. Now, roughly in about the 1500s, they were conquered by the Dutch. And the Dutch were doing a pretty good job on building them up. However, they did bring a lot of different slaves from West Africa and also from India, which is why a majority of their population is now of African descent or Indian descent. They also do have natives there as well. After 170 years of the Dutch being in charge, the British took over, and that lasted for about 200 years. During those 200 years, the former slaves were able to gain rights. And from other different civil movements, they were able to gain their own independence in the year 1966, which led to them getting their first president that was elected by the people. And I guess the first president that they had, he was actually not a local to Guyana. His name was Arthur Raymond Chung, and he was president of Guyana for roughly more than 10 years. until he passed away. Now, although Guyana is now a free country, they are still faced with certain challenges that the citizens would say is causing them to have less liberty. And one of those is actually poverty. And the specific example I have here, which is very well represented, most of the people that live in like the more rural areas live in wooden huts like this that are raised up because of the flooding. A lot of them also do not own cars, and they also do not have enough money for food most times, and they're stuck eating provisions, which is not entirely bad, but it's not ideal. They also face lots of forms of abuse, which I will not show any pictures of. However, the two forms of abuse I wanted to talk about was number one, alcohol abuse, and number two, physical abuse. With statistics, it has shown that not just within Guyana, but other countries within the Caribbean, that every 1 of 2 women are faced with some form of abuse. Next, I wanted to talk about Venezuela, their last challenge. Now, Venezuela is trying to take over Guyana for their oil reserves. And within this picture, the country of Guyana, the part with the oil is about more than half of the country that Venezuela is trying to take over. And pretty close, they may go to war soon because of it. Now, in conclusion, we learned about the country of Guyana. We learned that it's a beautiful place filled with amazing opportunities. We also talked about the challenges that they are facing due to unfortunate circumstances. At this time, there may not be solutions to what they face, but there can be awareness raised on that matter. Guyana is beautiful, the people are wonderful, and they want to live their lives in peace. As quoted from Minister Ben, which is Guyana's motto, "One people, one nation, one destiny," end quote. And that is all anyone wants. Thank you.